Today I'm going to teach you what drug dealers have in common with songwriters. Hi, my name is Dylan and I teach people how to craft better songs and write hit songs. So today we're going to talk about drug dealers and songwriters. Songwriters are just drug dealers but in the music business, and drug dealers are drug dealers but in the drug business. So, what do drug dealers and songwriters have in common? A drug dealer is known as a person to sell drugs. Songwriter is known as a person to write songs. So, what do these two have in common? You might be surprised, but these two share some similarities, which I'm going to teach you, which I'm going to tell you, and after that you'll be able to handle your songwriting well. You'll be able to. It will be an improvement. The information I'm going to tell you will be an improvement on how to handle your songwriting. So I'm going to tell you immediately. What do drug dealers and songwriters have in common? Take a second and guess. What do drug dealers and songwriters have in common? So number one, hit records and hit receptors. This may sound extreme, but it's the truth. If your song isn't triggering dopamine like a drug, they are not being played like hits. Have you heard that? If your song isn't being played like isn't triggering dopamine like a drug. You see, dopamine, as I've told you, dopamine is the chemical that is released when it's the feel good chemical. It's the feel good chemical. It's a chemical released when somebody feels good, when somebody takes drugs, when somebody has sex, when somebody completes a chore. It's dopamine. It doesn't care where it's coming from. So long as the feel good effect is there, it's going to be released. So drugs and music have the same thing in common. They have one chemical rewarder, which is dopamine. So if your song isn't triggering dopamine the way a drug it triggers dopamine, you're doing it wrong. Because it's the same thing that is the same thing that we get as a reward from consuming the both. A good song and drugs is the reward is the same, dopamine. Which means, and it does not care, dopamine can be triggered by anything. Completing a task right now. If me personally, when I complete finishing this video, I've not recorded for like 2 days, dopamine will be released. Dopamine does not care where the source of trigger comes from. Its work is just to being released its work is just to get released when you hit it right. So if your songs are not triggering dopamine like the way a drug does, you're doing it all wrong. If your song that is not triggering dopamine the way a drug does, you're doing it wrong, and that's why your song will not get replays, and that's why your listeners will only like and comment. Your listeners will only listen to your song once and leave it at that. They will not come back to replay it. They will not hit repeat because your song is not triggering dopamine the way a drug does. There is a reason certain songs get played hundreds of millions of times while others get skipped. Hit songs are simply manipulating brain chemistry. Hit songs are simply manipulating brain chemistry. The other songs do not do that. There is a reason why certain songs are played hundreds of millions of times, the hit songs, while countless others get skipped. It's because the hit songs are simply manipulating brain chemistry. This is because of all of the reward that is dopamine. It is manipulating the brain chemistry. The top 1% of songs are engineered to feel addictive. The top 1% of songs, the top charters, the one on the billboards, the one on Billboard's Hot 100, the ones on Apple Music, the top charters, the top 1% of songs, the hits, the global hits, the Despacitos, the Despacitos, they're all engineered to feel addictive. Engineered, the word is engineered, meaning you can do this. Anybody can do this. It's something you do intentionally. Engineering. It's engineered. It's something that you can learn. It's a methods, it's formulas, it's methods and formulas and techniques. Something that you can apply. It's engineered to feel addictive. It's not luck. It's not out of that the artist has a lot of talent. No, it's intentionally engineered. Intentionally. That's why I can say. That's why I say I teach you how to craft better songs. Take your song from a 2 to an 8. All because of the engineering. It's engineered to feel addictive. And your brain can't tell the difference between a song and a substance as long as dopamine hits. I've told you that. Your brain can't tell the difference between a song and a substance as long as dopamine hits. I've told you that. Your brain can't tell the difference between a drug and a substance as long as the dopamine hits. That's difference number one. What drug dealers and songwriters have in common. What drugs and songs have in common. Dopamine. Drug dealers they're selling you to trigger dopamine. Songwriters are writing good songs to trigger your dopamine. What they have in common, number one, is the dopamine factor. Number two, messing with your brain. Number one was dopamine, the hit receptors, hit song receptors, dopamine. Number two is messing with your brain. That's what they have in common. Drug dealers and songwriters, drugs and songs, messing with your brain. In a good way or in a bad way. But with songs, we're obviously talking about in a good way. For a song to mess with your brain in a good way, you're going to like that song. Hit songs are chemically rewarding the listener from the first second to the last. Hit songs are chemically rewarding the listener. Have you heard that? Hit songs are chemically rewarding the listener from the first to the last. From the first second to the last, messing with your brain. Studies show that the brain responds to highly engaging music by releasing dopamine. The exact same chemical triggered by gambling, sugar, sex, and drug use. It messes with your brain. His songs are chemically messing with the listener's brain from the first second to the last. And that's what drugs do. Studies show that the brain responds highly to his engaging music by releasing dopamine. The exact same chemical triggered by gambling, sugar, sex, and drug use. Get me? They mess with your brain. Your nervous system is subconsciously scanning for and identifying patterns, prediction errors, contrast, familiarity, tension, release, and much more. When those ingredients are timed right, the brain lights up. You see the keyword there. When contrast, familiarity, tension, release, patterns, prediction errors are timed right, the brain lights up. That is, the keyword there is timed right. You do not just throw them in a song. That's why it's called engineering. You must know what you're doing. When they are timed right, put at the perfect place, the perfect positioning, the brain lights up. The best songwriters in the world are neurologically effective. The best songwriters in the world are neurologically effective. When listening to the best songs in the world, the top 1% in the world, and you look at your brain through a scanner, the brain scanner, you'll see the brain behaves in a certain type of way. That's why they're said to be neurologically effective. You get me? You can imagine just seeing the brain neurons in the scanner behaving a certain type of way, reacting to a certain type of way, and it usually does that. I have videos on my Instagram at The Writer's Block. Follow me at Instagram, The Writer's Block. You'll see those videos. Number two has been messing with your brain. That's what they have in common. And we've talked about drugs might mess with your brain in a good way or a bad way. Same as song might mess with your brain. But songs do that in a good way. For them to be a hit song, it must mess with your brain in a good way. That's what they have in common, messing with your brain. Number three, engineering addiction. Drugs and songs, songwriters and drug dealers both engineer addiction. And I hope you're getting the keywords, the engineer. It's all about engineering. It's something you can do. It's something that can be applied. Engineering. It's not something that is inborn. It's not something that someone else can do and another else can't do. No, it's something that anybody can do, can be applied. Engineering. So what drug dealers and songwriters have in common is they're able to engineer addiction. Great songwriters make sure every second is a dopamine roller coaster. Great songwriters make sure every second of a song is a dopamine roller coaster. From the opening line to the final fade, they're strategically, keyword there, strategically. They're strategically triggering dopamine with every musical move. I've told you they do not throw in these triggers, these techniques. They do not just throw them. They are placed strategically. They're the right timing in the song, the right timing, strategically positioning them from the opening line to the final fade. They're strategically triggering dopamine with every musical move. Every rhythm, every pause, and melodic shape is designed to keep the listener chemically locked in. Get me? Every rhythm, every pause, and melodic shape is designed to keep the listener chemically locked in. It's all about the song feeling irresistible. That's addiction. Engineering addiction. It's all about the song feeling irresistible. Every rhythm, every pause, and melodic shape is designed to keep the listener chemically locked in. You might be wondering, why do I keep coming back to this song? You know, why do I keep coming back to this song? Why is this song singing in my head? Why is it ringing in my head? You can feel that you're silent, but your brain is singing the song, making you take your phone and play that song again. Why? Because it has been intentionally made for you to feel this way, to be addicted, to be chemically locked in. They have engineered addiction in the song, and that's why the song has that effect on you. This is it. That's the end of our video. Please stay locked in and tune for more. My name is Dylan, and I teach people how to craft better songs and write hit songs. Toodles.